Hello, welcome to my first class in test of hypotheses. In this lesson, we are going to have a quick introduction about what should you know before entering to this class. So first of all, you should have some knowledge about the principle of statistics. So this is not an introductory course for statistics. You should have some course about probabilities. You should have a general understanding about what is the mean and the variance of a probability distribution. You should have general knowledge about random variables. You should also understand how probability distribution are described and what they are used to. You should understand the discrete and continuous, especially the random variables, which are the Gaussian random variable. So after that, if you have a good knowledge, it's fine. So we can have also a quick review. So what is the probability? Probability is a measure of how likely an event will happen. We used to describe an event like a subset of the sample space. So an event is anything that could happen from total observation. For example, if we have a company which is producing some product and is now updating into a new version of this product. According to our studies and investigations, we suppose that only 70% of our customers will update into and buy the new version of the product. So we have the probability of customers to update the product is 0.7, and probability that the customer will not buy the new product is 0.3. So we noted that always the summation of all possible outcomes is usually 1. So if the total number of customers we have for this company is 10,000, so it is approximately we will have 7,000 of customers who will buy the new version of this product. Let's have a quick review about what the mean and the variance of a probability distribution. So to describe any probability distribution, in fact, we have two main things to think about. The first one is the central tendency. The second one is the variability. So the central tendency describes the concentration or the focus of the data which is grouped about. For example, this is green data, the center could be somewhere here, this is the blue somewhere here. So there is some measures in fact to describe the central tendency of the specific data. The most famous and popular one is to use the mean value. There is some other measures such as the mode and the median. And the other important parameter to describe a group of data or a distribution is the variability. The variability in fact describes how the data is distributed, about the dispersion or the spread of data. So if the data is focused very close to each other, so the variability will be very low, and vice versa. In fact, there is the main parameters or the main method to measure the variability is the variance or the standard deviation. There is some other methods such as the range, which is the range between the maximum and the minimum values. Also the quartiles, just as the first quartile, second quartile, and third quartile. In fact, the probability distribution of any random variable is just a method to describe how the data is distributed. For example, if it could be distributed uniformly on both sides of the mean value, or they are in different shape. Usually the probability distribution are characterized by the mean, which is the center. Usually measure the central tendency of the random variable. The variance or the standard deviation measures the variability. The distribution also can be continuous or discrete. Maybe you remember some discrete random variables examples such as uniform, geometric, binomial, and some continuous random variables or probability distributions. Also, uniform can be continuous and discrete. The most popular one and famous is the normal distribution or the Gaussian. We also have the exponential and some others. The most important one here is the normal distribution. The normal distribution is usually described as a mu and sigma square, where we have the mu is the mean value of the distribution and sigma square is the variance of the distribution. We can also use sigma instead of sigma square, where sigma is the standard deviation. So this is the normal probability distribution or the Gaussian. So the mean value is the mu. Around the mu is the majority of data is centered around the mu, which is the central tendency of the probability distribution. And the variance effect is a measure of the width or the spread of the data on both sides around the mu. So here is some examples of the probability distributions. So let's have a look for the blue probability distribution, the green, and the red one. All these three probability distributions are centered at 0. So we have the central tendency or the mean value of these three distributions at 0. So they are the same at central tendency or the mean value. If we look for the purple probability distribution curve, we have mu equal -2, which is the center of the distribution at -2. So this is the difference in central tendency or the mean value. The mean value describes the central or the center of the probability distribution where the majority of data is centered or focused on. If we look for the first three curves of probability distribution, they have this mean value, but they are different in variance. So the first one is the red, which have sigma square equal 0.2, which is very low or very small amount of variability around the center. We have also for the green sigma square equal 1, for the blue sigma square equal 5. So the more we have the value of the variance, the more the value are spreaded or dispersed around the mean value. In all these curves, the area under the curve will be always 1, which is the summation, or here in continuous it is the integration of all total possible outcome, which always will be sum to 100% or 1.0.